We're back from the break. We're going to start off with our lightning talks. We're very pleased to have the current director of the Center for Quantum Information and Quantum Control here that's joining us, Dr. Dvira Segal. Dvira is the director of the Center for Quantum Information and Quantum Control at the University of Toronto. She received her bachelor and PhD in chemistry from Tel Aviv University. She was a postdoctoral fellow at the Weizmann Institute of Science, then at Columbia University in New York. She had joined the University of Toronto in 2007, working up the ranks with a promotion to full professorship in 2017. In 2014, she was appointed to the Canada Research Chair in Theoretical Chemistry. Segal's research tackles fundamental questions in quantum dynamics, quantum thermodynamics, and stochastic thermodynamics, as well as practical challenges in realizing quantum machines of desired electrical, thermal, or optical properties. And with that, everyone, please welcome Dr. Segal. Whichever one you'd like to use.
Okay, let's start here. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. So indeed, I'm a professor here at the Department of Chemistry and also Physics. Let's try. But I'm here in my role as a director of the Center for Quantum Information and Quantum Control at the University of Toronto. So the acronym that we use is CQUIC, yeah, as you can see here in the title. And the first thing that I would like you to do is sign up to our mail list. So this, you can see, it's a little bit, looks old-fashioned, but it's very effective. And this is really how we communicate with you about our activities, what we are trying to do, the different programs that we have geared towards research, education, training, all sorts of internships, and so on and so forth. So please sign up so as you get our communications. So what I want to achieve today, I would like to tell you about the center, the different programs that we run. Obviously, it's all focused on research. We are within the University of Toronto, but we are focused not only on research, also on education, on training, and now with the new excitement about new foundational and practical aspects of quantum science and technologies, we are also trying to move on in this direction, involving students with different initiatives. So what I will do, I think I will begin by just quickly telling you about what I do. Within few words, I forgot that Moji was also going to talk about it. And the idea is not just to talk about myself, but you will see that every one of us in the center doing research in quantum is really quite interdisciplinary. Yeah, these types of research is very broad, and that's also one message that I would like you to carry on. You are interested in quantum, that's great, but there are so many tools and so many techniques from the different science and technologies that you do need to, and you would benefit a lot from. So a little bit about my research. I'm in theoretical computational chemistry. I'm also affiliated with the physics department. And I'm not going to do a science talk, but just to give you a flavor of the type of research, it's about open quantum systems in the context of quantum computing. That would usually be a negative thing about, you have your qubit and you would like to, probably you've heard from Nathan, you would like to keep the coherent, nice properties, but unfortunately there are all sorts of noisy effects around it that kill your nice coherence properties. So this sounds all negative, but in fact there are many aspects of such open quantum systems that are interesting, beneficial for the performance of systems, and this is what interests me, situations when coherent effects and actual world life effects play together. You have this mix of quantum and classical situations that lead to new function of your system. And there are applications starting from artificial systems, something like engineered systems, to chemical and biological systems. And specifically what was mentioned before, we are interested, maybe that could be interesting for you guys, thinking about thermodynamics, but within quantum mechanics. So what does it mean to have engine, Carnot engine, Otto engine, but with the working constituents instead of this ideal gas where we usually think about, just gas of atoms, but the actual constituents are going to be following quantum mechanical rules. Then the function of the engine could be quite different. And these are questions that are not only theoretical, but they are experiments realizing quantum machines. So again, in a few words, this type of research, as I've said, is very interdisciplinary, meaning that you take tools from obviously quantum mechanics, but also statistical mechanics, thermodynamics. You need, my research is theoretical, you need to be proficient or at least enjoy computation as well as theory and so on. And again, that's very typical for these types of research in quantum. Okay, so that's about me. Just if you are interested and check every other person in our center, I think it would be entertaining for you to see the breadth and the types of research. Okay, so about the center. So let's see, where are we? I don't have a pointer. Okay, it doesn't work. Anyway, I hope you are already a little bit oriented. So the medical science building over there. And in this picture, you still have the nice lawn, yeah, before all this messy renovation. So imagine that in 2 years when you come back, you will have this, again, nice campus. What do we have? Yeah, so we have the engineering buildings, the computer science, we have the chemistry, the physics, and that's the traditional departments within the university where for years we have been doing research in quantum. Yeah, that's where fundamental questions were pursued. Yeah, so this is where researchers in the center traditionally have been focusing on. But obviously what is going on now, and that's the excitement about these new horizons in quantum, is that we see now other people joining this enterprise, whether they are thinking about finance or business aspects of quantum mechanics, about the actual technologies, whether, again, moving on to the medical science building where we are now sitting, thinking about applications for medicine and so on. Yeah, so that's things that hopefully you will hear in this conference. Yeah, and beyond that, that's my yellow arrow, so I don't have a laser pointer. That's, if you know Toronto, that's Bay Street. And that's where, in the future, what we would like to see your students is, of course, contributing to other, not just to finance, but contributing to all other topics, yeah, whether thinking how these quantum science and technological applications could contribute to a range of topics. Okay, but today, in the coming 10 minutes, I'm going to focus on this area of the campus. Yeah, the engineering, physics, chemistry, computer science. You have met Nathan Weeb, who is in the computer science department at UofT, telling you about the center, types of programs that we offer for students, how you can be engaged, and what are the opportunities for you. In the last few minutes, I'm planning to give a little bit of an advice. I'm old enough, so I've seen many students going on through their PhD, and some suggestions how when you are, I'm assuming some of you are in graduate programs, some of you maybe are planning to, so some suggestions how to think about your graduate degree besides the research. Yeah, what else would you like to gain from it? Okay, so yeah, that's CQUIC, that's the logo, and over there, okay. So the center, we are about 30 faculty members from the different departments. You have met Nathan, he's in our center. Tomorrow you will meet Amar Helmi, yeah, for the photonics, and some of you may join the talk of Key on quantum materials. So it gives you a sense of the range of activities, range of topics that are covered here. Now, obviously, if I go to a colleague in a chemistry building, organic chemist, they're also doing quantum mechanics. Yeah, they are using, thinking about orbitals or all these properties whenever you think about reaction. And similarly, in many other research areas, we all use concepts from quantum mechanics. But in the center, we are focusing on foundational questions, on this, yeah, maybe should I say, we are the confused. We are thinking about what is unique about quantum mechanics, and a lot is going on about the coherence and entanglement and how it can be used to new technologies. So that's the main theme, and let's see. Sorry. In terms of strength, if you wonder what are the research areas covered in the center, it's quite broad, as you can see in the list. We are not focusing on one area. We are enjoying covering and trying to do research in all the topics, whether it's quantum optics, whether foundational questions, photonics, nanoscience, and so on. So I will have immediately a list of a few of the research areas. So that's for the big picture on the center. So I just forgot to mention the, I've had here a list of 250 researchers, but I mean also students and postdocs involved in our center. And indeed, we do think about you, the students, as part of the center. We are here for you, for the research, for the education, and for the training. Okay, so what I will do in the coming few minutes, I will just briefly go over the researchers and give you a flavor of the types of research programs. Maybe that's what interests you, specifically for students. Yeah, and finally, I've said I will talk a little bit about what does it mean to be a quantum student, yeah? What can you achieve beyond, of course, the main research programs that you would like to pursue. So if I'm trying to classify what types of research we have at the center, okay, there are different ways to classify it, and probably you will see it at every center across the country and outside. We have people doing research on quantum algorithms, on software, quantum software, hardware. Probably now that's the main thing that you will hear in the media, yeah, quantum computing. The next item, quantum materials, you will hear tomorrow from Professor Key. So that's, again, thinking about unique properties of whether it's entanglement or coherence, what does it mean for materials properties? From fundamental questions in quantum science, quantum dynamics and control, quantum communication, and so on. And again, in different places, you can categorize it in different ways. The other side of the board, what I put over there, thinking about platforms. So some students really love atoms, some are more into molecules, some like more complex systems, yeah, nanostructures. Or from the other end, some people are more fascinated by photons. So the beauty is that indeed you can use these different systems and approach the left side of my, the different topics in quantum science. And indeed we have researchers, whether they are using photons to think about, quantum computers or fundamental questions or atoms or nanoscale systems. So whether you are in the quantum optics or engineering or chemistry departments, there are opportunities to be engaged in these types of research. And that's actually the beauty. You can work with different systems and interact with people working on totally different systems with different tools, but the questions and the challenges, could be common. So here, I'm not going to go over the list of people in the center. I just wanted, I hoped that what would happen is that you go now to the webpage and you can scroll over the names, and you can see there are, for each one of us, a few details on the types of research. And I think it's useful no matter what university you are planning to go, because it will give you a sense of what does it mean to be involved in quantum science and technology. What types of researchers are we? What are the questions that we ask? So from this page, okay, maybe I should mention, Alana Spurguzik, you will hear tomorrow from a student of his, I think on quantum, okay, I don't remember now what was the abstract, but I think it was about the last talk. You will also hear from Amar Helmi over there, on photonics, nanophotonics. And then from the other page, I already mentioned Professor Key here at the bottom center, who will talk about quantum materials. So again, that's my suggestion. If you are not sure what interests you, go over the name, see the types of research covered. Okay, so and Nathan is here as well. Moving on to what probably is interesting for you, what do we offer for you students in terms of opportunities? So the most relevant one for undergraduate students is that we have a very nice program involving you in research. You can see also the flyer in our table outside. So we have a summer research program funded for students, not only UofT, actually we would like to see students from all over the country. Check the details for the applications. What is also important is that we are not looking for students who are already invested in the quantum, not necessarily. It's okay to try it out, it's okay if you don't have yet an experience, but obviously assuming you have good grades, we would like to give you the chance to be involved in research with one of our researchers and see if it fits you, okay? So that's, we are not asking for recommendation letters, it's really just based on grades and a short letter that you write. And hopefully there is an interest, mutual interest for you to work with someone and someone working with you. And when there is a good match, it's a very successful and fun summer. So please check the details. What else? So we have other programs. And again, at the top, I put the email list. So please sign up, because you will get these announcements about the different activities. So what we would like to do is, of course, bring people together. We want people who are doing research, whether it's on photons or atoms or different aspects of quantum science, to talk with each other, learn from each other, because maybe what you are doing is relevant. So we have some formal and informal events that are relevant for even undergraduate students. So I would like again to encourage you to be engaged with us. Seminars, quantum tea, conferences. We've had undergraduate and graduate students obviously joining us. So check the website and the mail list. Okay, so now, I guess in the last few minutes, what I mentioned, I will, from my age, I have some maybe perspective on what does it mean to be a quantum student, some suggestions. So in this picture, you see two people, and indeed it's not clear who is a supervisor and who is a student, and that's exactly the point. Maybe when you begin your journey, climbing and addressing whatever big challenge, maybe initially the professor is the one leading you, but the whole idea of doing a PhD is that at a certain point, you switch, and you are actually the one leading the research project, and that's how you should think about it. You are the one who would be the expert on the experimental setup. You are the one who should also be an expert on if it's a theory that you are developing. So it's okay to begin and not know anything. You don't know everything. You are maybe coming up, taking the ideas from your PI, but at a certain point, that's exactly what we would like to see, or what we hope to see is that you are taking the lead. And it could, it doesn't matter whether you are in a theory or experiment or the different departments. That usually is what we see with students. They are becoming the experts at a certain point. So I talked about expertise, but then it's very important to keep thinking about the breadth. Maybe you have the temptation to spend these 4 years in the basement, playing with the lasers, but it's really important that you go out to coffee with friends and talk with them, not just to have some sun, but also really to extend your research horizons and understand what are the other topics. So as you climb over there, and maybe now you are the leader, you reach the summit, but now what's next? So we would like you to have the breadth, so you are able to talk with other people. Maybe what you did is relevant for their research. Now you can address other projects. So breadth is very important, and that's what we try to do at the center, expose you to different research areas. So you should keep in mind this aspect. As you do your research, you become an expert on your topic. Keep thinking, what are other people doing? What are the questions that they are asking? And see if you can contribute or understand even their language. Sometimes there is such a language barrier that you are not even able to understand the other researchers. So few also suggestions. As you climb, there are many letters, but at least a few of them. The attitude is very important. We see students that get tired during this journey. Keep the optimistic approach. As I've already mentioned, the breadth is very important, and that's our role in the center to expose you, but you have to come and join us. Communication, I would like to highlight, maybe as students we think that we just got this nice proof or the nice experiment and that's it. But if you are not able to tell it, engage other people with your research, if you are not able to explain it properly, the whole point is missed. So it's really important to develop your communication skills as you move on. And W, it's not last, not because it's least important, but of course, just a work-life balance. Keep the balance between your research and other aspects of life. Okay, so maybe the next slide, which is almost the last one. So as you move on in your PhD, at a certain point, you don't need to be stressed from day one, but at a certain point, start thinking, what's next? As you do your research in quantum, there are now more and more opportunities. That's also part of talking with other people, especially students who may be above you, in terms of their development. See where they are heading, talk with them. There are opportunities, whether in academia, in government, in companies, of course, startup or more larger companies. But there are also opportunities that maybe, you did research, excellent research in quantum, but you may expand and do something else later. And what I hear from people, they never feel that this PhD was a waste of time. It's a great opportunity for you to contribute to this scientific enterprise. Maybe later, you move on, work whatever with other areas, but I think this enjoyment of contributing to some basic questions is always with you. So again, start thinking at a certain point or checking or learning from other people how they moved on. And indeed, I would say at least after 1 year, start thinking about the skills that you would like to gain. Like critically think about yourself, identify your weaknesses and strengths, of course, and think what you need to develop, whether you would like to develop more your teaching abilities or communication, or whether it's more about courses that you are missing, you realize there are gaps in your undergraduate degree, that's fine, just you can do it not for credit and complete these gaps and so on. So take the time to evaluate what you want to achieve, where you are, and what are the opportunities around you. And just to mention, no matter what university you are, this is, for example, from UofT, just a very small sub-list from a long list of different workshops that are offered. So all the universities we are very focused on, indeed, making sure that students come out of the program prepared, or at least having the experience and the tools to pursue different careers. So here, for example, our list of 5 different workshops offered this month in the School of Graduate Studies at UofT, all about communication, and of course there are more in different topics. If you are interested in maybe more intellectual property, there are workshops on that. If you are interested more in teaching, and so on. So as I've said, think what you want to achieve and check what is around you. Yeah, so that's my last slide, where again I wanted to mention at SICWIC, at the center at UofT, we are naturally focused on the research community. That's the main focus, but we would like to reach out. We would like to make sure that you students are aware of opportunities and gain from the opportunities outside. So whether with, again, research, with internship, with interactions with other researchers around us. So you are the future of this field. So please join us and we learn from each other. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Professor Segal. If there are any questions from the audience, yes. Taking the mic.
On the commercialized part and the business part, are you working also with Rothman? I haven't seen.
Okay, that's a very good point. That's indeed on our plan, on our to-do list. Plans to offer indeed IP or whatever courses that are related to development in this domain for science and engineering students. Yeah, because there is indeed a gap here where students who are finishing, at least in the sciences, their degree, they don't get education in the intellectual property or entrepreneurship. There are some opportunities if you are familiar with the CDL, but it's something that we would like to formalize more, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In case if like are the GPA like based on your whole transcript, or is it based on the most recent ones? And in case if there is like anything extenuating, would that be put on consideration for this program?
Yeah, so, well, first, if whatever, there is a page to write where you write what interests you, as well as you can put if there, maybe your trajectory in your undergrad was not, so straight. Maybe you started in biological sciences and moved around, that's fine. So please, that's an opportunity indeed to tell your story. In terms of grades, I guess we look at the total one, but we do pay attention to the relevant courses, and obviously if there is a clear, some students maybe begin low and go up, the other way around, it does matter, but there is no, it's not a single case. Every day, we read all the files and we see who seems to be most, relevant. And unfortunately, we cannot accommodate everyone, but again, it's not just grades. It's also about matching between students. Some PIs are very popular, but they cannot take 10 undergraduate students for summer. So that's also, of course, a capacity issue. Generally, it's a grades, but not limited just to your last, most recent semester.
So you specified that one applies to the link that you mentioned, and then depending on their research interest specified in the letter, they get assigned to the relative researcher within the group. That's something that's discussed amongst the different researchers?
Are you asking about the summer program?
Yeah. I should have specified, sorry.
So the best is that you specify already in your letter with whom would you like to work. You can specify a couple of names, and you can also talk with them already. Because it's actually a good idea, I should have mentioned it, to talk with, if there is someone you would like to work with, talk with them regardless of this opportunity. Maybe there are other options for them to work with you. Through other programs. So talk with them. If there is an interest, I think most people would try to find ways to support the student, whether through SICWIC or NSERC or their own budget and so on. So be proactive and approach people. Mm-hmm.
I was just curious, is like the research on the environment and how it affects the quantum system, is that like a large area? First time I'm hearing about it. Like, but because from the media you focus on quantum systems, is it like popular?
Are you asking about my own research?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Is it really? Yeah, sorry.
So this topic has been in chemistry very active for many years because chemical systems are never isolated from the environment. We never have in chemistry a qubit. We have, for example, electron transfer in DNA. Let's say if you have an electron going around, it's a quantum object. We must treat it quantum mechanically. So thinking about even processes like respiration, photosynthesis, many complex processes, you have to treat them at a certain level quantum mechanically, but with the complexity around, and there's so many degrees of freedom around, at a certain point there is a question of what is quantum, what is classical. So this type of research has been very active in the chemical and biological, and then more and more for physical systems. And now thinking about, quantum thermal machines, now that we are actually able to realize them, it's the same type of scenario where you have a quantum system, but it's not isolated. It's connected to many. It's really the reality of our universe of this crossover between quantum and classical is very, it appears everywhere, and we have to understand, what degrees of freedom should be treated quantum mechanically and what can be treated classically.
Hi, for the undergrad research program, like which courses you will consider to be more important to be relevant?
Maybe I should have mentioned, we give priority to students in their second and third year. I don't think we can usually take students in the fourth, maybe it's even not allowed. I mean, once you finish, if it's a summer after your degree, you are not eligible. Some students even apply after the first year. It's possible, if you somehow have a unique situation where you took some quantum courses. But usually, our main the target are students finishing their second and third year. Usually the students, if they come from the sciences, they have some quantum course, relevant math courses. I guess it's hard to, again, you need to find a supervisor, so it's hard to find a match if you took no quantum courses. Unless self-reading and you can convince them, which is fine, Some students indeed manage to, they are interested by themselves, they learn, they read, and they, I guess, again, the bottom line is just talk with people if you are motivated. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, I cannot stay after the second talk. I should mention that Anna here in the audience, Anna is working with our Center for Strategic Initiatives, and Anna is going to be here, I'm not sure until when today, but also tomorrow. And we have the table outside with some flyers. Also, you can, I guess, easily, I didn't put my email here, please contact me if you have more questions.
Sorry, I have a question also concerning undergraduate research program for summer. So it's written that we need, if possible, a letter of support by a faculty member to CQI/QC. Is it possible to get into that program being UTSC student and not knowing anyone from facility from UTSG campus?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the main objective here is to have students not just from UofT. We've had last year students, still from the region, McMaster, McGill, but even in the past, we actually had students outside Canada, but now with immigration, it became complicated. So that was the original plan, to have from all over the world. Now it's indeed limited to students who can work or can study in Canada, just because of but any students. We would like actually to see students outside so they can see what is a quantum environment here about, and hopefully continue with us to a higher degree. And the letters, again, are not mandatory. It's I think most applications actually don't come with support letters. So that's fine. We know that students are just, you didn't have yet mostly opportunities to work with faculty, researchers, and yeah, that's understandable.
Is it okay if you actually put the rest of the questions, actually, if you'd be able to ask them on the networking session, at the networking booth for CQ&QC? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Professor Segal. If you can have a round of applause. Thank you very much.